Have you ever seen a photo that could literally give you chills? This one isn't just haunting, it shows one of the last victims of a disease that nearly wiped us out. At first glance, it's heartbreaking. You see a little girl covered head to toe in pox marks, but what you may not realize is that this picture is a reminder of just how close we came to living in a world where smallpox was unstoppable. Smallpox was once one of the most feared diseases on the planet. Over the centuries, it claimed millions of lives and left survivors with scars that went way deeper than the skin. This photo was taken in the 1970s and shows one of the last recorded cases. Seeing her face, it's impossible not to feel the weight of history. Imagine being one of the last people to suffer from a disease that haunted humanity for so long. Think about this. Just a few decades ago, this could have been any one of us, any one of our loved ones.
Why were the Beatles wearing masks like these? It wasn't a fashion statement. This 1965 photo actually tells a bigger story about life in England at the time. Captured before a concert in Manchester, this photo shows the Beatles in protective smog masks. In the mid-1960s, Manchester was known for its thick industrial smog, a byproduct of the city's booming factories. As the Beatles arrived for a concert in 1965, the air quality was so poor that they were given smog masks to wear. The Beatles, like everyone else, had to contend with the challenges of pollution even as they toured and performed. The sight of these rock legends in smog masks reminds us of how different life was back then and how air quality was a daily concern for many. It's a glimpse into an era when pollution was a visible, tangible part of life, and even the Beatles couldn't escape it. This photo is both iconic and a bit eerie, showing the contrast between the excitement of a concert and the harsh reality of the world outside. What are your thoughts on how far we've come with pollution and environmental awareness?
Have you ever seen a hockey game where the stakes were bigger than just a win? In the midst of the Cold War, when tensions were high between the USA and USSR, the ice rink became a battlefield. This shot captures the rough and tumble clash that had the world holding its breath. This picture is from the 1980 Winter Olympics in Lake Placid, known for the legendary Miracle on Ice. The USA, an underdog team of mostly young amateurs, faced off against the Soviet Union, a hockey powerhouse that had dominated the sport for decades. Here, you see American players and Soviet players tangled up in front of the net, bodies flying, sticks clashing, and the goalie doing everything to keep that puck out. Imagine the tension in the stadium, the crowd roaring, players giving everything they had, and the eyes of the world watching. For the Soviet team, it was a moment of disbelief, and for the Americans, a triumph that would inspire generations. Knowing the stakes of this clash, how would you have felt watching it live?
Ever wonder why Freddie Mercury's style was as legendary as his voice? Here he is in Japan looking like he just stepped out of a rock and roll dream. But what's the story behind this fabulous outfit? And Freddie was always bold, but this look has a little extra magic. In the late 70s and early 80s, Queen toured Japan multiple times, and Freddie fell head over heels for the country. He admired the culture, the people, and the fashion. Everything about it spoke to his sense of artistry. This particular photo shows Freddie in Nagoya, decked out in a vibrant knit jacket that was likely inspired by Japanese fashion's embrace of bold colors and patterns. He wore it with pride, blending his flamboyant style with the traditional aesthetics of the place he loved. It wasn't just about looking good. For Freddie, Japan was a place of inspiration and a source of personal joy. Knowing how much Japan meant to Freddie, what do you think this place and this outfit represent for him?
Ever seen a photo that just gives you chills? Who are these two women, and what's the story behind their insanely long hair? Meet the Sutherland sisters, who, in their day, were as famous as any modern influencer. But there's a creepy twist to their tale. During the late 1800s, the Sutherland sisters, there were actually 7 of them, became known for their collective 37 feet of hair. They toured with Barnum and Bailey's circus, wowing audiences and even making money from hair products that promised to give other women hair just as long. But behind the fame was a story of tragedy, mystery, and eccentricity. Their father, Fletcher Sutherland, pushed them to showcase their hair, turning them into a national sensation. While they gained fame and fortune, the sisters led unusual lives, and many believed their obsession with their hair became a curse. By the end of their lives, most of them were broke, having lost their fortunes, and they became almost as mysterious as their famous hair. Knowing the story of the Sutherland sisters, what do you think? Was their hair a gift or a curse?